your shit if you ain't ready to get hit.
Well, allow me to drop some knowledge.
I have to disagree. I saw the Sailor Moon outfit.
New York, New York! How about it, eh? Man, I just do what I do, and I let God do the rest. That's all it is.
They might be dead.
America is strong. Let's go. I was not going to be denied. I don't care. I was going to go out on my shield or carry it out of this ring. I don't care. I came here to win. I'm going to be a father in February, and I was not going to be denied.
Yeah, New York, let's go. Listen up. Patty the Batty better win that fight. Because me and Patty in London, that's the fight to make, baby. Let's go. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, the first one, she was blocking my legs while I couldn't get over the head, so I knew she was able to take it. The second one, my leg was already over her arm, so she couldn't block it, and I knew it'd be there.
4 championships.
I did everything the right way. We had a little hiccup, and I want to apologize to Dom for missing weight. I mean, truly, anywhere else I would have made that, but, you know.
Hey, where we are? I thought we were in New York. New York is fucking awesome. Let's fucking go.
It looks like that.
Oh, there it is again. That might do it. That'll do it. Well, his thesis statement on the fight was there are levels to this game.
Perth, I'm coming for you. Any man walking the face of this earth can get it. Come and get it. I love you, Joe.
It allows guys to
He got on a plane to be here with me, so I took that as motivation that he's got fucking cancer and he came out here, so he's fighting for us. How could I not fight, you know, and give everything that I have for him?
But I've seen in the past he's very explosive. I didn't want him to get dumped on my head or something like he did with Oliveira. So I tried to keep my weight back with his knees bent so he couldn't straighten them back out. He was a little bit more durable than I thought he was going to be. I had him hurt, and then I landed after I hurt him, and he was still there. You know, I didn't think that was going to be the case here. I thought if I hurt him, I was going to put him away. Who ain't got jiu-jitsu?
choker here, but now she's going to got it.
Come back.
A minha equipe é embaçada. Vou falar pra você, era uma luta difícil a cada dia. Hoje foi muito difícil também. Muitas pessoas desacreditaram, falando que eu não poderia fazer 5 rounds. Eu fiz 5 rounds muito bem. Eu tô pronto pra próxima.
What's going on, guys? Get this UFC talk popping. What's up?
Yo. I like the hat. I like the hat.
Yo.
Hat is fire.
Yo, I was working merch that night, and I was the only one buying shit up. I was like, I'm the only
I don't want to sound mean. I don't want to sound mean. Where's my sweater?
You know how Them shit sold out in like the first hour. They wouldn't
I know, I'm fucking with you.
and put those to the side.
I was like, as I was saying, I was like, I know I couldn't go, but I wanted my sweater. I wanted to feel like a champion with those hoodies. Yo, that shit looks dope.
Actually, I want the black and gold Venom joint, and I found it online cheaper than it was at the garden. So I was like, I'm gonna just get it online.
Oh, yo, send me the link so I can see if I get myself one too.
Yeah,
Those Venom hoodies are fire.
sale. You're not even gonna believe the price that they have it on sale in the UFC store.
Yeah, the UFC is not cheap, man. They expensive.
That's why I was like, oh shit, it's on sale. I gotta get it now.
I'll see if I try to get a
It's been a little minute. I've been so busy working. You know, you guys, I miss y'all. So nice to have a live today. Thanks to Jay. You guys know Jay, MMA fighter as well. We're gonna be talking UFC tonight. UFC 281 that happened this past Saturday. It was a great fucking card, but I didn't
amazing.
see as good as it was. Like,
it was this was the first pay-per-view in almost, I'll say, 12 years. None of the judges was barely involved. Everything was a stoppage, TKO, submission, and each fight, and it was incredible. And I'm glad they did it in the greatest arena of all time, Madison Square Garden.
it actually made history because of that. Yeah.
They said it. They said they broke the record. They broke the record that 7 fights straight, no judges were involved, and they were very happy about that.
That was dope. It was dope. I rewatched it today, and it was still as entertaining.
I think this is the pay-per-view of the year. I still vote for it. This is the pay-per-view of the year.
But yeah, super dope. What's going on though? How you doing? How you doing? How's everything?
So far, everything is, decently. Like a lot of personal problems I was going through. I don't want to sound like Adesanya, but there were certain things he said in the press conference that is true. Like some athletes are all, like, not all of them are Superman or going through things. There were some couple health issues I was going through that I kept it on the loop for a while. That's why I didn't fight in October, because the health problems started happening around the end of September.
Oh,
and,
no. I was
yeah.
just about your training. What's going on?
So my training is postponed for financial issues. Because not gonna lie to you, the trainer is a little bit expensive. So, and he has to be expensive because he was a former Bellator champion. He's well known,
right?
And you want to train with the best. So I want to go for the best to put me to be one of the best. But financially, I started struggling a little bit, but then I also started struggling health-wise. I haven't been in the gym in almost a month and a half. I haven't been training at the dojo for a while. So, but thankfully, I'm getting healthy again, and hopefully soon, by this week, I'll start training again, little by little, just to get my health back up there.
You've been through so much leading up to this that I know that when it finally happens, it's gonna be amazing. So yeah. I know it's probably stresses you out and shit, but don't worry, yo. Keep moving forward.
Yeah, like me, I could be in my 30s or my 40s, but if I feel like I still have that, like that's one thing as a fighter or as a combat athlete, you don't want to let go of that one last itch that you need. And this fight was about. It was that one last itch. And this is why I enjoy UFC, because these guys love the sport. Win or lose, they love that itch. And I understand completely what that means, because I love that passion, that thrive, the adrenaline rush of fighting, not just a great martial artist, but a great fighter in general. Like, you want to go after the best to prove yourself if you're part of the best categories. Right. But I know it's a minor setback, but like I said, if I still have that instinct that no, I need to get this last fight out of the way. It's for a reason. Like, I don't know, maybe it's meant to show me that I do belong there. Like, it's something that I have to prove myself, not to prove to anybody else.
Totally get it.
Hmm. But we'll see where it goes. Hopefully by January they find someone for me for a February card, and we'll see where it goes from there. Let's hope we start 2023 with a bang of me fighting again.
Yes, you got this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm definitely gonna start with the main card.
Of course.
Prelims are never really. I mean, they'd be okay, you know.
Well, the prelims, the only thing I gotta say is Dominic Reyes needs to go. I'm sorry. ever since the John Jones fight, like, bro, go. Like, John Jones was right about that throwing shade. You need to permanently sit on the sidelines now. You did not lose 3 fights in a row regularly. You were losing with knockouts, TKO. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if I was losing that badly, it will pain me to say it, but I gotta go with. Listen, man, those hits give you damages in the long run.
Right.
But that dude got rocked, like rocked badly. And not just this guy, but before this guy, he was getting destroyed by former and current champions. And the only guy that really evened it up with him and gave this guy trouble was John Jones. He gave John Jones a fight of his life. And I think ever since then, he has that mindset thinking that he won that fight, why he's fighting lower rankers when, you know, he deserves another shot at the title. But dude, you lost twice, and look at the guys you lost to. A former champion himself, and another one that's a current champion is going to defend it against Glover Teixeira this December. So if you can't hang with them, you're never going to go for that. But after that knockout, bro, sit in the sidelines. I'm sorry.
It's like, what's up, Maurice? Maurice in the room.
All right, Maurice.
So it's like, you know, first of all, Dana White, when you have your second loss back to back, he's already giving you the side eye. Because you can't get.
Why didn't they put him on the prelims?
Still be on, you know, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But
Maurice.
So let's start with the first match on the main card. Dan the Hangman Hooker versus Claudio Princess Peru Puelles. I'll be having hard, they be having these, foreign names.
Some Peruvians have some weird last names. I admit that, and I can say it because I'm Peruvian myself. So, so I was happy for Claudio because Claudio represented people from my country so hard and so deeply that I was honored to watch him, even though I'm a huge Dan Hooker fan. But in the beginning was a little bit like, oh shit, because Claudio caught him with a leg sweep, which is so hard to do with a great kickboxer like Dan Hooker, because he's lifting his legs, he's moving around, and to do a roll-up leg sweep to try to get a knee bar, that's very impressive. To do it like literally in the first minute. But Claudio, I'm gonna be honest, there's things called jitter moments, and the jitter moments is you're in the big leagues now. You're in Madison Square Garden, where guys like Conor McGregor won the double champ for the first time when Madison Square Garden became a pay-per-view. Georges St. Pierre made a comeback and won the middleweight champion. Now he's now a former 2-division champion. Then you got, Muhammad Ali made the arena special, as in the boxing world. Then you have Vince McMahon brought the birth of WrestleMania. That arena has history on its own. It has its own aura. Like me, when I was there last year, you felt the vibe is different. No one can never explain how Madison Square Garden is in wrestling, UFC, and everything. So Claudio had that. You could see it in his face. He was not ready to open up one of the greatest pay-per-views match card in the world. You're opening up when you have Dustin versus Chandler. You have Zhang Weili going for the belt for the 3rd time. Then you got the rematch of the centuries of rivalry between Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya. Claudio was really nervous, and you could tell that he wasn't ready to highlight a pay-per-view. I think he needed a couple more fights before he could start hanging out with the top tens. Dan Hooker's experience, he fought one of the best guys. He fought Chandler. He fought Dustin. He survived with killers. Claudio hasn't gotten that, and you got to understand, Claudio has to mix it up. It's mixed martial arts. You got wrestling, you got judo, you got jiu-jitsu, you got Muay Thai, Taekwondo, karate, kickboxing, and even boxing. He was not mixing it up. I understand. Dan Hooker is a high IQ of striking. He's one of the best strikers in the lightweight division.
Right.
But if you're just there and you're just dropping yourself, you're not getting the respect that you needed. And I think Dan Hooker did an amazing IQ that he needed to waited him out and gave him that beautiful kick in the stomach. And trust me, those kicks hurt. Yeah. They don't look much, but they hurt.
Yeah. And Dan just proved to himself that, he still got it.
Oh, yeah, man. No, and he needed that long layaway because after he fought Paul Felder, he was getting the hype. Like, he was getting the hype to start reaching out to the top fives. But the moment he fought Dustin and the moment he got destroyed by Michael Chandler, his momentum was dying off. But sometimes that happens to any athlete, any fighter especially. But your worst enemy is when your pride goes away and you want to take that long time off. And trust me, sometimes your worst enemy, but sometimes that's your best friend. Sometimes you need that long break. You need to refocus. You need to gain that momentum of hunger. Dan Hooker proved it on Saturday that he was hungry to stay in the top 10 and try to be in the top 5.
So, like, Claudio being a lot smaller in stature than Dan, he was having trouble closing the gap between them before he hit Dan with the leg lock. Dan reversed, and he completely dominated, and won the match by TKO. What would you say, being an MMA fighter, what was Claudio's biggest during that match?
So, like,
being nervous and jumping.
So, when you're fighting a guy like Dan Hooker that has the length, has the experience of fighting big pay-per-views, headlining fight nights for the UFC, you got to understand that a guy with that structure like Dan Hooker, you got to understand that you have to close in the gap because you got to remember you're fighting a striker. If you're in the MMA world, the striker is going to just think it's a kickboxing match when you're supposed to mix it in. Now, Claudio has a great submission specialty coming down with the legs. He is one of the top wrestlers and jiu-jitsu fighters in Peru. I was very surprised that the UFC got him when he did the Ultimate Fighting, and I'm proud of him. He's representing my country, which hopefully I join him in that category that I represent Peru as one of the top fighters.
Right.
Even though I was born in America. But so at the end, Claudio, I feel like he needs to work on how to be smart to close in, to clinch. You see, Dan Hooker has the length. So when you fight someone long, you got to understand that you have to clinch these guys and get close range. Not let them use that power. Because let's say I'm fighting someone smaller than me. The guy smaller than me is going to want to get close because he knows that I'm going to use my leg range and he knows I'm going to use my arm range. And the more they close in, I lose my comfortability and I lose my power because you can't power with this. This is nothing. Claudio did not see that opening because there was a couple openings he could have done that and then clinched the guy and try to drop him instead of going for leg locks, instead of going for a knee bar.
I understand.
And that's the biggest thing. Like he got that momentum of rolling around with him, but then he really didn't close it in like he's supposed to, because you could come up with so many different type of drops, type of takedowns. You have the momentum to get on his back and put him in the ground, but they didn't. But I guess he messed up on that point. But congratulations to Dan Hooker. He's a great fighter. He's in the top 10 for a reason. He's not there for showboat. He's has one of the greatest IQ in striking, but with a striker like that, you have to wrestle him down. You have to tire him out because he won't last if you tire him out. But Gladio missed the opportunity and got his loss in the big pay-per-view card.
Yeah, it was a little tough to watch. Yeah. So
But
the next match we had Frankie Edgar,
man, the legend.
been a long time fan of, and versus Guitarres.
Gutierrez.
Chris Guitarres.
Gutierrez.
First of all, this was a quick ass match, and it didn't go the way I thought it was gonna go. Like,
I thought I in my prediction, I was taking Frankie Edgar to surprise us in the second round. I thought it was gonna go 2 rounds, but Gutierrez has another high IQ in striking. He's very, very smart with it. But this is the thing that I have a fear of, that when you fight hungry young guys like him, like that, and Frankie Edgar, never take credit for him. He's a legend for a reason, one of the greatest fighters of all time. But sometimes when your time is up, your time is up.
him that small.
Yeah, no, your time was up. Like, I think his greatest victory of all time is when he beat BJ Penn. His greatest fight with Eddie Alvarez freaking fought. Like, I think, to me, that was my favorite fight of all time when he fought Eddie Alvarez. But then when he started going down the weight, that's when he was lacking of his comfortability. That's when, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. As a fighter, our biggest enemy is cutting weight. Cutting weight kills us. And you can see it in all these fighters' faces. Like, they were drained out. They were tired because, it's Madison Square Garden. It's one of the biggest cards in the world. And, they want to impress. They want to be ready. But sometimes being too ready is your worst enemy. You drained out. But Frankie looked healthy. I'm sad that he's going away the way he shouldn't have. Like, I feel like he if he wanted to work so hard in his retirement fight, he should have just, like, straight up just bang it out with the guy. But that's not his fight. His fight game is, he's very patient. He wants to observe where his opening is, and the moment he sees it, that's it. He's a shark. He's a shark in the ocean. He smells blood, he's going for it. And he proves it time and time again. But it was Gutierrez's night, and like I said, he has a smart IQ in striking.
What's up, girl? Sophia, shout out.
Oh shit, what's up? And she got awkward J. I like that, but I'm not awkward though.
So Chris caught him with a knee, and it was just quick. It hurts, to be honest.
Now, I shed a little tear because these. And the thing is, like, even as a fighter or not, you're a fan. And you're a fan of these guys. You look up to these guys. Even though some of these guys were smaller than me, I'm a huge fan of Eddie Alvarez when I was younger because he was such a beast. Frankie Edgar, Chad Mendes, Uriah Faber, even Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse was a beast, and people forget that they were there for a long time.
Well,
but these small,
like, stop, like Brolic to be the badass.
Yeah, no, they proved that these smaller weight class could do some damage, and I could prove it with one person, Brandon Moreno, one of the most toughest big heart fighter in the world, and he's only a 135er or 115, 125er. Yeah, 125. He's a 125er.
Skills.
And
Miguel Torres, Uriah Faber used to be my favorite.
Uriah Faber, man, like, a lot of people sleep on him. But he was a bad dude. He was dangerous. He was the reason why Dominic Cruz gotten better, because he beat the crap out of him in their first meeting, and then when they went to the UFC, Dominic was starting to dominate because he had to prove that he had to be better than Faber, and it was hard at that time. Faber was a beast. A lot of people, and even as much as I know a lot of people disagree, but even Conor in the beginning was a monster. I was a beast. And he's just a small dude, but he proves it with that left hand. That left hand, he was knocking people out.
The last match hurt me a lot, man. I was This should have never even happened. First of all, I wasn't all that thrilled about. I felt something, and now I know he said something about having another match, right?
Who?
Connor?
Yeah, so if he comes back, they still putting that side that they want him and Chandler, since Chandler already has a lose again. And Connor had already 3 losing streak. Well, 2 losing streak. So they think that makes more sense. But the thing is, because Connor got so big and during his training and his rehab for when he broke his leg,
yeah.
And all honestly, like it has to be a welterweight abound. It can't be lightweight because it's gonna be so hard for Connor to try to cut that weight since he got so big and in all those videos he's been posting.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. What's up, Christy? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Christy. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for that. All I say is that if David comes to that, Connor better fucking win. Because another loss.
I'm a huge fan of Chandler, though. Chandler, like, look, he proved it. That he can be a badass.
Yeah, mad respect for him. But, being a fan of Connor is just, I don't know how.
I think Connor's done, in my opinion. Like, the hype train he had is.
This is why I feel like, just walk away. Leave it alone. Because you know what? If you get another loss now, it's going to be super worse.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. But it won't tarnish his history, though, because in the history, he beaten future Hall of Famers and had the best rivalry with Khabib Nurmagomedov. Like, he's the only guy that put Khabib Nurmagomedov in danger in one round, and people don't give him credit for that. Like, you don't hear anyone else doing that at Khabib. No, he literally gave Khabib a problem in the 3rd round. The 4th round, that's when he got caught. That was it. But other than that, like, sometimes, that's why I always tell people, in UFC, you can't blink. Because sometimes some shit happens, you don't even realize what was going on.
Yep.
But again, I give respect to Frank Yeager. He's a legend. Well, definitely so proud. Like, I felt so proud because it felt home, and it felt like these people in my heart, they felt like brothers. Because you got Claudio as a Peruvian. I felt so helpful, and then Frankie representing New York, the East Coast, and Madison Square Garden, his hometown, his background, his backyard. To retire, you feel it. You feel the emotion that, man, I'm so happy for him. But the way he went, it's sad. But these young guys, man, are not playing. They hungry. They want that belt. They want that bonus. They gotta put an example. And that's a big way to put. Now Gutierrez is definitely gonna be known now after this fight because he put away a legend.
This was, just like in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Torch. There you go, right there.
And trust me, you don't want to get knee in the face. That shit does suck. That shit sucks.
The match after that was Dustin Poirier.
That was the fight of the night.
Chandler, excuse me. No. Okay, first of all, this was the bloodiest match on the card.
I loved it. I don't care if I was bleeding.
I respect Chandler for hanging in there because he was catching wreck, bro. Catching wreck. Poirier was not playing games. He was lumping this guy up. Dustin takes down Michael almost 2 minutes into
in the 3rd round.
Almost 2 minutes in, yeah. Dustin was just 2-piecing him and lumping him up. He had blood all over the ring, all over.
You gotta get Chandler credit.
And his everything and almost his mouth, and I was like, oh my god, I can't. That's one thing I don't understand about you guys in this sports is like how you had to mix.
Listen, the last time I had a fight like that, oh my god, that's why.
But I wouldn't want to be the person.
No, listen, I think it was like my 4th, 5th fight. I was like, what, 20, 21 years old and we were bloody. That's why I have so many scar tissues like above here to here because, I was fighting mainly guys that were righty, so they always hit me like on this side.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that, like, 2 things can happen. Either you see your own blood and you pass out, or you see your own blood and you become this animal and you just attack. And luckily, me and this guy went at it, but we were fucking dizzy after the fight was over because during the time when you do amateur league or you start doing semi-pro, you don't have your own locker room. You share the lockers even with your opponent. But when your fight's about to come up, they separate you so you can start warming up. So they don't see what you're doing and I don't see what that person's doing. And that's when we go into the cage. And literally, when we went back and they started stitching us up or they started like trying to cover me up, I was leaking more than him though. Like he had a cut like just here and his nose. I ended up punching him in his nose really good. But he caught me a lot here a bunch of times on my eye and above my head. And they kept wiping this part off, but they kept seeing blood coming down and they were like, where's that? And then they like moved my hair here and then I don't know where they see it. And they were just like, oh man, I didn't know he caught your head too. And I think it was one of his elbow shots because trust me, I tell you guys, this is like a knife. Once you know how to use it and start going like this cuts anybody open and this is crazy. But what Chandler reminded me of that. When I saw that fight and I see like how he just kept going forward to Dustin, even with a broken nose.
That's why I said I respect
and it's true what he says. Listen, if you can't breathe, because trust me, I broke my nose a couple times. Look how messed up it is. And you're bleeding a lot. Yo, you have to blow that blood out because then you can't breathe properly when you're fighting. And I don't blame him on that. But yo, I would do the same shit. Like if we're going to war, I'm spitting my blood at you, boy. And we're going to keep going after this round. And I respect Chandler for that. Yeah. But I got to give credit where credit's due. I'm not a big fan of Dustin. Like, he's a beast. Don't get me wrong. He's a beast for a reason.
Yeah.
But he looked a little fake to me. A little shady. Like, he talks so much shit about Michael Chandler, but then, like, he admitted what he said, and somebody recorded it on the phone, and they put it on Instagram. I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I was a little scared to fight you. But they were telling him he was a nobody when he came to the UFC. So, as much as I don't like Colby Covington, but Colby Covington is starting to look like he's been telling the truth about you this whole time. And you kind of want to prove people wrong that trashes you. You're proving them right now. But like I said, I give credit where credit's due. He put up a good fight. There was a moment that I feel like Dustin was going to go out. But, you know, Chandler's such a small guy. He doesn't have the length like Dustin does. So for him to try to overpunch a taller man, it's hard. It's hard to catch that point. It's hard to catch that, like, you know, because you want to go through with the guy and go overhand, and it's hard. It's really hard to do it, especially if the guy knows how to move around with you. He has a great IQ as a fighter. You know, like I said, this is chess. It's not checkers. You got to learn how to make your movements right. Mm-hmm. I think Chandler, you know, makes his mistakes always. Not always making it, but I know when he sees the momentum and he sees an opening, he explodes. And I think he needs to learn how to do what he just did with Tony Ferguson. He was very patient in that fight. He let Tony explode instead of him. And then look what happened. He caught him with a beautiful front kick, knocked Tony Ferguson out. He couldn't do that with Dustin. And Dustin even said it. And he was warning Chandler for the whole week. You try to make it to a brawl, I'm gonna put you away. And he did. Caught him in his back, choke him out. And I feel like it's a good redemption for Dustin because that's how he lost his 2 title fights, with a rear naked choke. And for him to do it to Chandler, that's a former contender and a former challenger, it must feel good for Dustin for Dustin. You know, and Michael Chandler now, he has to find a way to get back his momentum because he had the momentum after the Ferguson fight. But with this loss, I feel like he needs that Conor fight. Now that I think about it, I think he actually needs it now more than ever.
You gotta throw some respect on Dustin's name now.
Oh, they both are, because even Dustin said it. I was in trouble in the first round, and it was true. In the first round and the second round, Chandler had it. Chandler was giving him problems, even though he broke his nose. But you gotta give credit where credit's due with the judges. The judges said it. Those takedowns are giving Chandler the win of the scorecard. And if it would have went 3 rounds, and Dustin got a good wrestling defense, they were rolling around, but Chandler was the one that did the takedown and almost slammed the shit out of his head. Because, yo, Chandler's a strong dude for a small little guy like that. That dude, I feel like he, like, no exaggeration, but I feel like he could freaking bench press me. Like, that's how strong he is.
Yeah.
Like, to lift Dustin not 1 round, but 2 rounds and put him over his shoulder and German suplex him, which is incredible.
Insane.
Dustin survived it. That's how you know Dustin is a strong warrior too. Like, yo, if I would have landed like that, I would have been, all right, I'm done. Like, I said, I landed on my head. Like,
that was a good match on the card, for sure.
that was the greatest fight. I respect both of them. I knew it was gonna be a brawl fight at one point.
Whole main event thing, even though
That should have.
which we'll talk about next, was dope.
But Dustin did a good thing, and I feel like I was telling Megan, because Megan was telling me what should Dustin do now. I told Megan that Dustin needs to fight Beneil Dariush. Fights Beneil, because Beneil is now a 3 rank, Dustin's 4. And since Islam already has a match, he already has a fight with Alexander Volkanovski, I think it was the best move for Dustin to fight Beneil Dariush. He fights Beneil. The winner of that should fight the winner of the lightweight belt. I don't think they should give Dustin the belt right now because he's on the number 4 rank, and people have to respect the rankings. If you're lower than a guy that's been winning and he's been doing a good thing, he deserves a title shot himself more than you. Like, Dustin already had 2 title shots. Beneil Dariush hasn't. He's been running through the top 10 ranks like nothing. He defeated Tony Ferguson, a former interim belt. Dustin right now does not need the belt right now. He does not need the title fight. He needs to wait his turn like everybody else and let Beneil Dariush fight the winner of the between Islam and Alexander Volkanovski.
That makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. So, ooh, my homegirl Cappy. What up?
That'd be a dope match. What's up, everybody? VMF Army. What's popping? So the only women's match on the card was the co-main event, which is awesome. Women co-main eventing UFC.
And they blew the roof off the joint, man. Zhang Weili.
John, what's his problem too? John Wiley is Wiley.
John Weili. Zhang Weili.
Zhang Weili. This is Carla Esperanza. John was going ham. Yeah, she dominated.
Listen. Carla, in all honesty, underestimated the ground game of Zhang Weili. Zhang Weili trains with a gold medalist, Henry Cejudo, for 2 years already. You think she's not gonna know how to roll around? And let's face the facts. Let's be scientific.
I was scared.
Zhang Weili is fucking huge compared to Carla. Like, when I saw the weigh-ins and I saw the fight, yo, Zhang looked fucking humongous compared to her. I'm like, damn, Zhang is fucking brolic. Like, you know, she looked like a dude. No offense. I'm just kidding. Let me not say that. But yo, she does though. She looked like.
I was like, damn, Sean looked like a dude, yo.
She looked like in that fight, she was gonna eat you up and spit you back out and play with your bones. That's how she looked phenomenal. She looked like an animal in that case. She was ready. She wanted that belt back, and she did it.
She was like Brock Lesnar. Speaking of, I fucking wish he would come back.
To the UFC or WWE?
The UFC. He's in WWE. That's the problem.
Nah, I think Brock Lesnar is officially done because
I know he's done, but
these guys are going to be a problem for him. He was doing it at the time when everybody was a specialist for one thing.
Yeah.
These guys now are really well-rounded. They know how to wrestle and they know how to strike. And I don't think Brock is not good on the feet. He has to wrestle you down. But I feel like he's not a threat to Francis Ngannou because Ngannou could now wrestle. And Ngannou's fucking strong now. Cyril Gane has an amazing jiu-jitsu background, so he will definitely give him a huge problem. So I don't think Lesnar should come back at all.
It'd be dope to watch. That's all I'm saying.
No, he'll break numbers. He'll make pay-per-view numbers like crazy. But I don't want to watch one of my favorite wrestlers of all time get his ass whooped in the cage. I really don't want to see that right now. You know, this is embarrassing. But Zhang Wei Li, amazing. She tested her pace. You know, Carla Esparza, I think she's the type of fighter that they talk about Izzy so much about him, but Carla Esparza is the most safest fighter in the world. She don't intimidate. But yes, I give her the respect what credit is due. She's a great wrestler. Maybe 2-3 fights she will brawl with you, but I think the moment when she sees former contenders like Rose Namajunas or Zhang Wei Li, she's not gonna give them that performance that she should, and that's why she got booed very badly in New York, because New Yorkers are bloodthirsty, extreme athlete fans. Like, they like to see violence. That's what we thrive on. And I admit that as a New Yorker, when we see violence like the way how Dustin and Chandler were, we go nuts. Like, oh my God, that's incredible. Jesus Christ, kill each other. That's how we are. But Carla didn't bring that spark. And I knew it. Zhang Wei Li was a problem. The moment she knocked out Joanna like that in the rematch, it was a wrap. She's not the fighter she was before. She's better. This is the Zhang Wei Li that I feel like she'll give Rose a problem if they have that trilogy. And it's going to happen at one point. I feel like Rose is going to have a title shot again, but Zhang Wei Li is prepared. And Zhang Wei Li is going to give her an issue.
I feel like she's gonna get even better. Like,
yeah, and she's a hungry champion. She's a hungry champion. She trains even like as a challenger. Even though she has the belt around her, she trains like she's going for the belt again. That's who she is. She's a motivated person, and I think that's what every fighter slack on. Once you have the belt, doesn't mean you're done. No. You're going to have guys that you don't want them to be better than you to take that belt away. You still have to fight. And that's why I respect so much Alexander Volkanovski and Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya keep pretending he's a challenger still, even when he was champion, because he feels like he has a lot to lose and he doesn't want to lose it. But Zhang Wei Li, congrats. A beautiful, beautiful choke. Rear naked choke was amazing. Carla Esparza really underestimated her in the ground. Even though, like I said, she's a specialty in wrestling, but Zhang Wei Li outsmart her, and that's what you need to do. You need to outsmart your opponent always. If you don't outsmart your opponent, it's gonna be a long night for you.
not something you get to see a lot.
I was so happy. I'm proud of Zhang. I think Zhang Wei Li is gonna hold that title for a long time. It's gonna be a while for her to lose that belt. I believe that. I think Carla should just not go for the belt no more. She was like one of the worst champions I've ever witnessed.
Damn. She needs to fall back though, yeah.
Yeah.
So going into the main event is versus Alex. I can't say Alex's last name.
Alex Pereira.
Pereira. Okay.
I might said it wrong too, but at least I got it a little bit.
But exactly. Anyway,
mm-hmm.
Who are you going for, first of all?
Well, in all honesty, my heart was Izzy. I've been a huge fan of Israel Adesanya. I never bet against him because he always proves everybody wrong.
Fine.
But a part of me, my heart was Izzy, but my mind was Alex Pereira. And it's like what Joe Rogan been saying, hyped it up for the past year when we saw his debut last year in the Garden. His left hand is trouble, and you can't stand with that guy. You need it. Israel had the best plan, and it was executing lovely.
Yeah.
But I was a little nervous, and the last time I was nervous for Izzy was when he fought Robert Whittaker in a rematch. I was nervous for him in that fight too, because I feel like Whittaker this time has his number, but Whittaker had a couple moments. I feel like he won 2 rounds, but the other 3 rounds you gotta give it to Izzy. Izzy knew how to outscore him, he knew how to outsmart him, caught him a couple times, and he even gave him the first drop in the first round, but luckily it was saved by the bell, and they had a good 5th round. But Izzy still, I think he has that match on his hand. And the nervousness of me went away after the fight was over because Izzy was playing smart still. But with Alex Pereira, you got to think about it. You talking about two dominated kickboxers in their career. They were so dominant. Nobody wanted to fight them in their kickboxing careers. Everybody was nervous to fight them because they knew they were fighting the greatest. They were fighting they were fighting a killer of Adesanya and a killer of Alex Pereira. Yeah. And everyone says it, that Alex Pereira was the boogeyman. And he is. He proved it on Saturday. He is the boogeyman for Adesanya. He's going to follow him everywhere he goes just to prove that he's still better than him. But it is deja vu. You know, that's how Adesanya lost their second fight in kickboxing in Glory. He was winning in points. He was outstriking him. He got him in trouble a few times. And that's just to prove that Adesanya has power, man. Don't let the skinny size fool you.
Yeah.
He rocked them in that first round. If you gave Adesanya 10 seconds, 10 more seconds, the fight would have been over. The fight would have been over in the first round.
I thought it was over that first round.
Yeah, no, but Alex Pereira got saved by the bell. And in all honesty, like, this is one thing, like I told everyone this whole week, and they asked me about the whole fight, and I told them Alex Pereira was well prepared, but at the same time underestimated Adesanya too much because he has that mindset that, oh, I beat him in kickboxing, but this isn't kickboxing no more. This is MMA now. Like, Adesanya is going to try to wrestle you. And he did amazing. He shocked me with how he was taken down, how he controlled him. And Adesanya is right. You know, don't underestimate him. He's strong. He knows how to move you around. But, you know, it was Alex's night. I think he did amazing. That his and this is the thing I want to let everybody know that are trainers. You have to let your fighters know. You gotta be realistic. Like, hey, you play around with him in this round, you're gonna lose. You're losing this fight right now. Alex Pereira woke up and fucking unleashed. But I'm not defending Adesanya because I'm a fan of him. You guys gotta look at the facts. I feel like he was hurt the whole time this whole week. He was limping in the weigh-ins. In the ceremony weigh-ins, you could tell he was playing a poker face. The vibe was different with him.
I didn't get to catch the weigh-ins. Now I'm going to have to watch it.
Yeah, if you watch not the ceremony, the regular weigh-ins, he was limping. He was limping. And then look, and it was a factor. His leg was giving him a problem, especially Alex kicking his legs, the same leg that he was having problems with. But this is how you know Adesanya has a heart of a champion. He didn't care if he was not 100% in that leg. He went in there, and he was still winning the fight.
Right, but that's most of their appeal, is that characteristic. Yeah,
so I give credit where credit's due. Like I said before, you know, Alex Pereira did amazing. Yeah, he just proves it that he's a monster, man. But was it controversial? Because a lot of people saying it's been controversial for 2 days. I don't think it was controversial. You got to remember that the referee's job is also to protect you. You know, you're not supposed to be in there with a ref just so the ref can watch you die. Like, no, this is not like a movie.
Right.
He's there to make sure that you're safe too. Like, you know, and if the referee would have never jumped in, I think Alex Pereira would have needed him because Adesanya was putting his head way too low. And you got to understand. But yeah, Izzy looks fine, but you got to remember, he was stuck. And you never seen him stuck like that before. You know, he moves around. He's going to keep moving. But I think that leg check was really like, and everybody has to understand, I did shin to shin a couple times. And trust me when I say this, that shit takes a while to heal. And it hurts like a bitch. It sucks. So Adesanya doing it, like he was kicking him and then he was getting kicked. But once I saw that leg check, I was nervous already. Right there, my nerves got worse because I was like, all right, that's it. If Adesanya does not relax, Alex is going to catch him. And I was saying it the whole night. The whole fifth round.
Knowing that, it hits different.
Yeah, no, the fifth round, I kept telling my boy, I was like, oh, that leg check. Like, we were like right there, zoned down to the TV. And I was like, oh, that. Once I saw that leg check and he rolled back just so he could get his balance because he lost. And it's true. Listen, a lot of people got to understand. When you train so much as a combat fighter, especially in MMA or martial arts in general, we tend to lose balance sometimes because our body's starting to like react to certain things. Like I have had that a couple of times that my knee stops. It stops on its own because it's not used to the certain training way that I do.
Right.
And that's what happened with Adesanya. His legs stopped working. He had to roll out because he almost fell. But luckily, like that's the thing about Adesanya. He's so quick thinking. He doesn't pause. He thinks even in action. He thinks and he rolled back. And it was different. But the fight was amazing. We knew it was gonna be a good fight. It was gonna be a real tactic fight. Like I said, Alex got caught a couple times. It just proves that Alex also has a weak chin. But I do agree what everyone is saying, especially the Hall of Famers and everyone. Alex is not going to be a dominant champion the way Adesanya was. He is going to fight someone that's going to try to outsmart him because he's not as fast as Adesanya. Great kickboxer, great striker, but he has power. He has that power, and he's not going in there as a 185er. He looked huge. He looked like he was at least 210. 210, 215 in that fight. Like he looked big. And that's another factor. I think that's why he got rocked so quickly because he used it as like the way how you start. Everybody gotta know that you don't start fast right away, especially if you're doing a championship round. And especially with a guy that's been in the championship round, done it so many times. He went 5 rounds so many times. So he has that experience. He has that stamina. He knows how that feels. And you started like that. Like he was about to do a running knee on him, but Adesanya saw that coming. He's not going to get caught with that. But Alex Pereira looked sucked out so badly in all 5 rounds. Because, look, after when he won, he had to sit back down. He was like, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm drained out. But I feel like if Adesanya would have been smart and grapple with him again in the 5th round, control him on the ground, and try to ground pound him and elbow him, Adesanya would have won the whole fight.
Yeah.
But
worth it.
But it's all right. I was sad. Don't get me wrong. I was so sad and I was happy because they proved that division is also a firework division. It's full of killers in that division too. Not just the welterweight, not just the lightweight, like all of them. All of them are dangerous fighters for a reason. And I just have to say this, Adesanya, in my gut feeling, he will beat Alex Pereira one day. Now that this fight finally happened,
yeah, for sure.
He's ready. He's ready to fight him again. He even said it. Even if it's not for the belt, I need that rematch. I need that rematch to fight him. Yeah. Now he doesn't want it no more. Now he needs it. And there's a difference when you need something and when you want something. And 99% when you need something, you get it because you desire to it. And I know one day he's going to beat Alex Pereira because Alex Pereira is going to make a mistake. One mistake and Adesanya is going to put him apart. So we'll see when that rematch happens. And my prayers to him because he talked about that he has some health issues now. And I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll share that for a little bit. Hopefully, he gets better and he comes back stronger and more focused and more hungry now that he's a challenger again.
Right.
So we'll see where it goes. But congrats to Alex Pereira. Stay the fuck away from Marvin Vettori. Stay the fuck away from Robert Whittaker because they will eat you alive. And if you decide to fight Chimaev, he decides to go to 180 and fights you. Oh, man. If you couldn't handle Adesanya in the wrestling, these guys are going to tear him apart. I don't think he's going to be a champion for too long. He's not ready for that.
Before we finish, I just want to say rest in peace to Rumble Johnson. It was really sad.
It strikes so hard to hear a guy that age that he was just leaving his prime, but he could still hang with these monsters, these killers that people like to call martial artists. And to hear that he was going through health issues, and it's just same thing like what Chadwick Boseman was going through. Nobody knew that he was sick, that he was dying. So that's why I always been considerate that you got to respect what other people's going through in their lives, especially athletes. You got to remember these athletes, we could be fighters in the cage, but we're still human. We bleed. We have sensitive skin just like you guys. we carry viruses and bacteria just like you guys. You know, we're not superhuman. So Anthony Johnson proved that. Like he was trying to fight whatever he was going through, and he lost the battle, and now, you know, he's not suffering no more, so he's resting in peace. And, you know, my condolences to his friends and family that loved him a lot, and I do consider him one of my top 10 best fighters in the world, because he proved it with John Jones, he proved it with Daniel Cormier. He could try to be the best, but he was a scary dude. But he was a true martial artist. He was very humble. He respected all his opponents, all his peers, and we lost a lot. We lost a good soul, and it's a sad world in the MMA and martial art world that we lost one of the greatest fighters of all time.
On that note, thank you for being here, my BMF Army. Subscribe to BMF Goddess on YouTube if you haven't. Thanks for being here today. Jay, thank you for all your insight. The best.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night, and just subscribe and watch all her episodes. And I don't need to be in it. Just watch all her shows. All her shows will always be lit. But I want to say thank you, everybody. And if you guys are a huge MMA fan, just keep your eyes out that sooner or later you're going to see me on Facebook Live, or even on YouTube, and hopefully I compete again. But let's just keep it positive.
May the force be with y'all.